This is the first video for section 5.1 in statistics, basic concepts of probability. These videos are going to be relatively short, but there will be several of them for each section. My goal is to just put my spin on some of the definitions and ideas, and to also work some of the examples in the homework. What you see on the board currently are three definitions that we're going to start with. You're going to be hearing me say the words experiment, outcome, and event quite a bit. An experiment is just a process that you can do that will result in a single, that'll have a single result. For example, if you flip a coin, it's going to come up heads or it's going to come up tails. If you roll a die, and when I say a die, I mean a standard six-sided cube with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on it. I know there are other types of die, especially if you play weird games like Dungeons and Dragons or backgammon, but we'll always say that a single die is just a six-sided cube with the numbers 1 through 6 on it. So rolling a die, there's various results that could come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Or if we draw a card from a deck of cards. I am going to assume that everybody is somewhat familiar with a deck of cards. There's 4 different suits. There's hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. And in terms of the ranks, there's 13 of them, starting with ace, which some people think is a 1. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. Those last 3 are known as face cards. An outcome is one possible result from an experiment. So when I was saying all the different ways these experiments could come out, I was actually listing all of the individual outcomes. But again, if you're flipping a coin, the different possible outcomes are heads or tails. If you're going to roll a die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And if you're going to draw a card, well, depending upon the question that you're asking, there could be a variety of outcomes. For example, if I draw a card and ask you what is it, there's 52 outcomes because there's 52 cards in a deck. But if you draw a card and I ask you what's its suit, then there's only 4 outcomes: hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs. If you draw a card and I ask you what's the rank, then there's 13 outcomes: ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. An event is just a collection of one more outcomes. When you're flipping a coin, usually it's heads or tails, so your event is usually just one of those 2. But if you roll a die, I could say, what's the probability that you roll an even number? For example, we could say E is the set containing 2, 4, and 6. It's fairly standard for an event to be represented with a single capital letter, such as capital H for heads, capital E for even, but the letter doesn't actually have to mean anything. I could have called this one A, B, C, any letter I wanted. A lot of times, though, the letter that you use does actually have some sort of meaning. Or if you draw a card, maybe the event that you're looking for is that you draw an ace. So we could say that A is you draw an ace. You'll notice that sometimes when you have an event, you can actually list the individual outcomes, such as I did here, or you can describe them by just saying something like draw an ace.